I'm not enough. I can't make the changes. I'm not disciplined enough, and I don't even have the skills. I don't know what I could do, and how could I ever be enough? I look around the landscape of this nation, the promise that it professed, and frankly, I feel hopeless, like nothing that I do matters, that nothing I do will ever make a substantial change. I'm only one person. How in the world does my voice even make an ounce of a difference? Who am I kidding? You think they will ever let me make any changes? What am I supposed to even do? Vote harder? Run for office? Who am I kidding? I'm no politician. I'm no speaker. I don't have a platform. I don't have the resources. I barely know what it means to lead my own family. How am I supposed to lead a change in the world? I'm sick of feeling tired. I'm exhausted, feeling incapable. My children need me, but how can I make sure that they don't suffer? I'm tired of the wondering, and the more I sit here, the more pressure I feel. The weight of this feeling is almost too much to bear. I know other people feel the same way, but at the same time, I feel alone. Is it your duty? Frederick Douglass said, "It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men." Much the same, it is easier for us to build a strong nation than to repair a broken one. But much like you, I find myself feeling hopeless, lacking direction, and wrestling with the idea of quote-unquote doing my part. Because to most of us, the nation we have is indeed broken. Isn't that the irony? In a land of the free, we barely know how to keep this nation alive. One of the most impactful books I have ever read that radically changed my outlook in life is called The Intentional Father. I have read and reread this book because of the challenges it presented me. It exposed my blind spots, my weakest parts of my being. Through the pages, I began to realize that individual actions on a small scale truly have a massive impact. I began to be intentional in my life. I found my vision and my purpose of existence. I began to recognize that I could not be an absent father. I had to create structures, rites of passage, challenges, and set an example through my life for my children. But before I was even able to start that journey, I had to wrestle with the question, do I even want to do the work? Am I cut out for this? The answer is simple. I have to. I have no other choice. If I choose apathy any longer in my life, then I am ensuring that my children will suffer. If not for myself, I owe it to them to lead, act, and speak with intentionality and purpose.
Bennett, I wanted to tell you that the actions that you take today matter. Remember the lessons we're learning right now and all the rites of passage I've been taking you through?
Yeah.
Getting your knife and learning these lessons about what it takes to be a man. The reason that I'm trying to teach you these things is because what you choose to do matters, and who you become matters. Even the small decisions that you make today will affect the world in the future. Do you believe that?
Yeah.
So what lessons are we learning right now? What are the 3 words?
Patience, grace, and forgiveness.
So patience, grace, forgiveness, and there was a 4th one there that was humility. And the reason that I'm trying to teach you these things is because if you become a man of character, people will look to you and they will see the impact that you have. And above all else, look at me for 1 second. I believe in you and I'm your advocate. And because of that, I will always stand beside you and support you no matter what. I believe in you. You have to choose to believe in yourself. You have to choose to believe that you can make an impact. And then you can go out into the world and you can make a positive change. And that's something I had to learn in my life. I had to conquer my own negativity and belief that I couldn't impact. But I promise you, if you make good choices, you can have an impact.
The people we have put into office do not represent the values of this nation. We have created a cycle of leadership that has further decayed our foundation. The cycle has continued to the point where we no longer feel that anything we do has an impact. We look at our right and responsibility to vote as if it is a waste of time, casting a pointless opinion in a pool of 2 evils, a symbolic gesture that leads us nowhere. We become indifferent over time. Like a leaf tossed in the wind, we simply land wherever the whims of another will take us. We don't take charge of our lives. We exist in a state of faux comfort. The consequence of our lack of action is our suffering and demise. The reward of acting would be our freedom. The reality of believing we are too small to change ensures the fall of what once stood as a lighthouse. Embracing our responsibility empowers our people to change course. It builds people worthy of leading this nation. The example we set through our lives is an example others see. But because we have engaged in that vicious, destructive cycle, we experience and exist in the very world that we created. Does that make sense? You know, I think it does. And as I wrestle with fatherhood, my purpose, my family, and my calling, I've come to realize that all of it boils down to a simple truth. I can no longer be apathetic to the world around me. If I look to political figures to solve my problems, then I'm outsourcing my power and my ability to chart the course for my life. If I see them as the core cause of what I face, then I again remove the power that I hold to have impact to cause real change. I effectively limit myself because of my perception of them. And I keep thinking of that Frederick Douglass quote, "It is easier to raise strong children than to fix broken men." And I wonder how this mindset shift could alter the course of our nation forever. What if we all lived purposefully, intentionally in pursuit of a higher calling? How much more of a difference would that make? And how would that difference then go on to impact all of these elections? So do I believe that my vote matters? I'll be honest, I still wrestle with that every single time I cast my vote. Am I wasting my time? Can that simple action of voting cause any real impact? And I think the tragedy is that we've been convinced that that reality is true, that we do not matter, that our vote does not matter, that our actions do not matter. But I do know this, the actions I take matter. My example matters. It takes me little time and little effort. It's the least that I can do right now as I continue to refine myself to become an example worthy of following. So I'm going to. Year after year, cycle after cycle, I will let my vote be known. But that's not all I've been doing. I'm committed to living a life of purpose because I don't know who's watching. And if my life can be an example for even one soul, then I have made an impact that does far more than just casting a vote and convincing myself that voting was enough. I've done my part. No matter who sits in the throne, who wins the election, or what they desire for me in my life, I'm never going to back down. You and I are enough.